Today I'm going to show you how to inspect and replace the upper radiator hose on a 2007 Honda Civic Si. Now this should work for all 8th generation Civic Si's, both 4-door and 2-door Si's. Now first we're to inspect it. All you're going to do is just do a visual inspection just to see if there's any kinks or cracks, any deformities in the hose. So the upper radiator hose is right here. So you're just going to visually look to see if there's any cracks. You go down the line here, that's part of the hose too. Now this one looks okay, but I'm just going to show you how to replace it, and plus this is an old hose anyway, so I don't really mind. But then after the visual inspection, you're just gonna squeeze the hose just to see if there's any, like if it's mushy, or if you can feel like if there's like a little crunchiness in there, then you know the hose needs to be replaced. So just squeeze it. If it's firm, and then it's still good. But again, this one is an old hose, so I'm just gonna change it anyway. In order to get access to the hose, what you're going to do is we're going to have to take these little tabs here on the side. There's another one here, so it looks like there's probably 4. Here's the third one, and then we're just going to pop it up. All you do is to pry those tabs up with just a flathead screwdriver. So now that all those 4 clips have been taken out, all you're going to do is just we're just going to pull out this plastic cover here. You're just going to pull it towards you, so to the front of the car, just pull it out. You're going to come to each side, pull it up. So you're just going to lift it up above these bump stop here. So lift it up a little bit above it and then pull it out. So near the center, you're just going to move this thing to the side a little bit, and then see if I can do it with one hand and just pull it out just like that. Okay, so now that you pull it out, just put it to the side. Now that the upper plastic piece has been taken off, what we're going to do is we just want to make sure that, again, that the engine is nice and cool before we work on the cooling system. So this, the hose, just feel it. If it's hot, then of course you know the engine's still hot, but if it's cool to the touch, then you're pretty much good. So what we're going to do is we're going to release the pressure through the radiator cap. Normally what I do is I just throw a rag over it, so just in case there is pressure, the coolant doesn't spray all over your face. So just put a rag on top and then just open the radiator cap. So this is good. We're going to be taking off 2 of the hose clamps. This is actually the spring type, not the screw. So if you look on here, there's going to be 2 of them. There's one to the left and then one to the right. The smaller one is for the radiator fill piece there. So you're going to take the bigger piece here. There's going to be one right here, and then if we go follow the hose all the way, and then there's going to be another one down there. So we'll take those 2 hose clamps off. You want to make sure that you're going to put something to catch some of the coolant. There's going to be, not going to be that much that's going to come out, but you want to at least catch some of that. Now it's going to be pretty hard to take the hose clamps off from there because there's very minimal room here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a 10mm socket. We're going to take off this, I guess I don't know if it's a support, but it's some sort of bracket to hold the radiator there. So there's going to be on both sides here, right here. So we're going to take these 2 out, and then that way the radiator will be able to move forward and back a little bit, so it'll give you a little bit more room to be able to pinch the hose clamps together. Now you can see we've taken that off right there, and you can see here now you can move it up forward and backward a little bit. So you should be able to just pinch these two pieces right here together, and then be able to take out the hose. Now here's a little tip. For me, I find that it's easier to get one of those needle nose vice grips. If you look on here, just put it upside down and then go from the back and then squeezing the clamp from there. So, and then now it's easily, I can pull it. But here, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can get but that is the needle nose vice grip. So we'll just pull it in, and then it's easier, the one in the back here, this hose clamp back here, you can just use any regular pliers just to squeeze it and pull it inwards. So now that we've taken that front radiator clamp off, I just normally just clean it up a little bit. It's just a little rag. That one's clean. Now let's get the one in the back. You might need a little, if you need more space, what you do is just lift up the air box, take it out. This will give you a little bit more room to reach in and just take that piece off. Okay, so I ended up taking that hose out, but I was really struggling on that, so I ended up giving up, and then I just like cut the hose on the side here, and it was still like pretty much still stuck on there. So last resort, ended up cutting the hose right here and then just pulling it out. So just a little warning, so you might it might take a while just to take that piece off right there, but you do what you got to do. So this one we're not using it anyway, so just cut this little slit on here, made it easier to pull it out. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put the new hose back on. So here is if there's a little dirt or rust, you probably want to just clean that up. Here, I don't see any rust or anything on here, so I'm just gonna maybe just lightly clean it up a little bit here, but then I'll just put the new hose back in. So here's a comparison of the old and new hose with the clamps also. As you can see here, these clamps are pretty rusted. So I decided to get some new ones. These are the part numbers. So for the hose, this is the part number for the OEM. But of course, you don't have to use the OEM. You can go to your local auto parts store and just get them. But I prefer OEMs. And then this is for the spring clamps. Of course, the spring clamps you don't have to use. You can buy one of these. You can use these screw-in types also. But I just decided again just to use OEM parts. You're going to need two of the clamps to go, one on each side. But pretty much putting it back together is just reversed order. Now the good thing about the OEM hoses is that they make little marks on the hose. It's a little colored mark that shows where the hose should go. Here you can see that the white dot, a little bit off right there by a little bit where it's supposed to hit the, I guess this little tab here. And then the blue one, let me see here if I can show you. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Well, it's a little hard to see, but there's a little blue mark there. Sorry about that. Right there. Actually, you can see a little blue mark where it's supposed to touch that little tab too. So the white is the front, and then the blue is the back. now that we got that in, it did take me a while to try to get that in, so it was a little bit harder to put it in than taking it out. Kind of weird. So we'll continue with that by now we'll just put the air box back in place. Okay, now air box is put back. Make sure all the I guess these side clips are holding, so it's sealed tightly. And now we're gonna put these radiator brackets, I guess, here. So put those two back on each side. Now that those brackets are back in place, we're gonna put the top cover on. 4 clips. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just gonna push it back in. Now that we put the plastic cover back on, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fill the coolant back into the system. Now I do recommend doing the bleeding the air out of the system. To do that, all you're gonna do is you're gonna start the car, put the heater control on off and the heat on max, start the car, let it run for until the car, the fan turns on, runs twice. So when the fan starts running twice, and then you're pretty much done. If you need instructions on that, you can just watch my video on how to drain and fill a cooling system. Now in that video, it's going to show you a lot more, so all you're going to do is you're just going to watch the second half. The second half is just pretty much just filling up the coolant and then waiting for the fan to run twice. But as for this one, the upper radiator hose, you are pretty much done after you fill the coolant back into the system. Thanks for watching.